Hello and welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you here. In the previous couple of videos, I did talk about wormwood and I showed you the tincture of wormwood that I was using for both myself and my family, and the results were absolutely amazing. Now I get my own wormwood from the wormwood alcohol-free tincture from iHerb. I know they sell it in a couple of other stores as well. You can get it at your health food store. But what if you cannot find the tincture? What if you do not have the tincture on hand? What if what you only have is just the wormwood plant, whether that's fresh or dried? What do you do in this case? Can you still use it, and would it still be as effective as a tincture? This is what we intend to discuss in today's video. If you enjoy content like this, we do daily videos talking about health and wellness tips and tricks. So if you're interested, like, share and subscribe. Love to have you on board. Let's get started. Well, the wormwood is really important when it comes to expelling worms from the body, and as in like parasites. This can be a bit of a complex process, but alongside with the help of wormwood, it can really help you in releasing these parasites from the body. It can also stimulate the appetite, so anyone wanting to kind of slow down the appetite or make some boundaries here and there, this might not be the herb for you. It's also a liver supporter, just like burdock. I talked about burdock in yesterday's video, and about how burdock is great for the liver. The same applies for wormwood as well. It supports the liver. Why? Because it's expelling, it's releasing these worms, so it needs to give the liver that support that it needs to deal with such a situation. Apart from that, it also supports the uterus, it supports the reproductory system, and it's a very nourishing herb. It's a very gentle herb on the body as well, and it also is great because it's considered to be a bitter digestive tonic. It also stimulates the uterus and it expels the worms, and it also stimulates the bile as well. Apart from that, let's have a look at what ways you can use this lovely herb. First of all, you can make yourself a lovely hot infusion, and you could drink the wormwood herb that way. And it's also used for poor appetite. It's used for digestive problems. Another way is to use the tincture, just like what I did in the previous video where I show you the store-bought tincture. You could also make your own DIY glycerin-based wormwood tincture. And then use it, of course, based on the weight and the height and the reason why you're using it as well. So apart from that, you can also use a compress from the dried wormwood herb, and just simply start off by soaking a pad of the wormwood tea that you've made previously and apply it to any sort of insect bites, any sort of bruises. Now please make sure that you distinguish. You make the difference between any sort of bite or any sort of bruise that requires immediate medical attention, and any one that you can be able to just simply apply a wormwood infusion compress, and just make sure that you stay mindful and aware of making the difference between an immediate bruise or a bruise that requires immediate medical action. Apart from that, you can also use it as a wash, and you can wash using the infusion. Just wash the skin externally to help with assisting in calming down the skin. So these were the main 4 uses of the wormwood herb, and what to do in the case that you have only a dried herb that way. But just before we end the video, I have a couple of warnings for you that you should really be mindful of when using the wormwood leaf, whether that's a tincture, whether that's anything that's internal. First of all, if you are pregnant, if you are breastfeeding, please do not use wormwood. Do not use wormwood. Why? Because during pregnancy there can be a effect on the baby, because wormwood is a uterine stimulant. It stimulates the uterus, so you want to make sure any herb that stimulates the uterus you keep away from during any stage of the pregnancy. Also, the period of nursing, you would also need to keep away from wormwood, because wormwood contains a chemical called thujone, and thujone might pass on to the baby through the milk, the mother's milk, so please be mindful of that. Warning number 2 that I want you to be aware of: if you do intend to use the tincture, please opt for an alcohol-free version. And if you really can't find the alcohol-free version and you want to make a tincture with the alcohol one, then make sure that you use the hot water method in order to make that tincture. Why? Because we really want to reduce the amount of alcohol in the tincture, so preferably get yourself an alcohol-free wormwood tincture and use it that way and save yourself some of the hassle. So we've come towards today's video talking about the wormwood leaf and how to use it. A couple of warnings as well: if you found this content helpful, please like,